What up? This is just going to be a random video talking about various topics, and the first thing I want to talk about is obviously if you just recently visit my channel, or checked out any of my videos, now you see that I'm now an official YouTube partner. I'm not going to really make a big deal about this. Just I really, over the last couple of days, just looked up and looked up information about it, and it only took less than probably a day or so to become official partner. And definitely, it's going to be worth it as far as, my videos, the flow of my videos, I feel are going to definitely, improve dramatically. Now, as far as whenever I do reviews or anything on the lines of, a video, say if, there's more stuff I want to discuss that's going to go over the 10-minute rule. Now I'm not going to be stuck to that. Now I can go, unlimited time. Now I'm not going to go, long ass videos every time. I'm saying, probably, you'll see regular videos probably, 15 minutes or something along the lines of that. And definitely the thing that I really like about this is, I haven't done a Q&A in a little while. The main reason due to the fact that the way, before I became a partner, I had to, do a Q&A. If I did like a long Q&A that went, 3 or 4 parts, for it to show up in everyone's subscription box, or do it in a way that it wouldn't feel bombarding people with videos. I just, upload it once a day. And that takes, say if you did 3 or 4 parts, it'll take, 3 or 4 days until everyone will see the complete one. And it was kind of like, even though I did like doing it, it was kind of, hurting. Say if there's something else I wanted to discuss, I didn't want to do it because I wanted to upload that first. So now I'll do lengthy Q&As probably, regularly, whenever I do one. I'll probably do one at least every other week, probably about every 2 weeks I'll try to do one, if, I have time to, obviously. And as far as, your questions, the only thing I ask is, send it in to a comment on my channel or through a message. Now, if you do post it as a comment, post it as a comment onto this video and this video only. If you post it on, some other review or something, or some question on there, I probably will not accept it. It's just so I'm be able to, catch all the questions, and it'll be easier that way for me to do. So now let me just get into some of my thoughts. Now this is going to be, just some thoughts on some, recent rumors as far as wrestling news and topics going. Some thoughts of wrestling in this week from Raw and Impact. Now I didn't see all Impact, I just saw a little of it, so I'll just discuss, the parts that I saw from it and what I liked and what I didn't, obviously. And as far as the first thing I want to talk about is WWE is obviously within a month or so, they're going to be having 2 other biggest stars returning very soon. Now, obviously, the first one is Randy Orton. Now, Randy Orton's already on TV. He's just not in a wrestling capacity yet. So, you'll probably see him return very soon. Possibly, I've been hearing rumors that they possibly might hold it off till Survivor Series, because if anyone hasn't known, there was a the Survivor Series 2008 poster for this year has Randy Orton on the cover. So, not all those posters really hint at something, but sometimes they do, or make you at least think that way, that they'll do something like that. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then, love them or hate them, WWE's biggest draw, and not just my opinion, but it's a complete fact that the biggest draw in wrestling's coming back, and that's John Cena. Now, he's going to be cleared to wrestle sometime in November, which kind of shocks me because I wasn't expecting him to return anytime soon, but as far as a lot of these wrestlers, they want to come back as quick as possible. Hopefully he's not coming back too quick that he's going to get injured again, because I feel last time he came back a little too early at the Rumble. Obviously, WWE wanted to do that surprise shock value of it. The shock value was worth it, but I don't know if it was worth it on the body of John Cena, though, because I feel, he might have still been hurt. And you kind of could tell that with some of his pacing and his matches, when he first came back till probably WrestleMania. Not until after that you saw him, maybe go, a little stronger out there. But, definitely, John Cena is a big draw. I'm not saying I'm like a fanboy of his, but I definitely respect the guy. The guy does go out there and bust his ass and do a lot of good stuff for WWE. And, obviously he's one of those guys in WWE that's the marketable guy like, like Rock was, like Austin was, like Hogan was, and, you don't see that many big draws in wrestling anymore that could, maybe get in some outside fans, and he's one of the very few that I feel could do that. So definitely for WWE, and especially with the lowering of the Raw ratings, because the Raw ratings have been going up, down, and you can kind of blame that on a few topics. You can blame that they're not doing that many great stuff on Raw. They should improve a little things, or the main thing you could blame it on, and probably is what WWE is blaming it on, is you got a lot of competition on Monday nights. Definitely you got ESPN Monday Night Football, and ABC's Dancing with the Stars is a huge ratings draw. So you got two big draws for them that they go against. So and probably you probably got some shows on NBC or Fox or maybe CBS that air that night. I know CSI is coming back. I think that airs Monday. So that's something they'll have to go against. So, you got a lot of shows to go against. And, you really have to do something for people who want to go out their way to see, wrestling over some TV shows. That's just some things they would have to do. And then, another thing I want to discuss is Kurt Angle, his recent comments, or, not recent comments, but about a week ago or so, that he made in the UK Sun about TNA, what he thinks about the current product and stuff he thinks that needs to change. Now, I completely agree with him, but the problem I have with this is obviously, this is Kurt Angle saying this. Kurt Angle can get away with this. If this was actually, a homegrown talent, say if this was like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Motor City Machine Guns, or Christopher Daniels, that's now portrayed as the Curry Man, or someone on the lines of that, they would have got their asses fucking buried. Now, now they're turning this into an angle with him and Jeff Jarrett to build up their match and hype their match up more. And I feel it's a good and bad thing. It makes the match feel bigger and makes the match feel more important. But the one thing it does is, why would you want to do a feud like this and basically throw out on national television your flaws of your organization? Now, every wrestling organization has a flaw. WWE has flaws. TNA has flaws. Even though I love Ring of Honor has flaws, mainly production value, not, what they do in the ring, mainly just production value. And, TNA, why would they want to do an angle like this? I know it hypes up the feud, makes people, feel like, hey, this is, some legit stuff, make it, look like, it's actually a shoot, even though now they're turning it into an angle. And, you're probably going to have a lot of people question if, Kurt Angle's comments in the Sun was this actually his intention to say these things? Did he actually believe this, or was this something that, on the lines of someone like Dutch Mantel or Vince Russo or someone working backstage said, hey, do this thing in this newspaper and let's change it into an angle or something like that? But that's just me thinking. I don't think it's an angle, but, in this day and age, anything like this, and especially, Vince Russo, he knows that the way, the internet wrestling community will, make something like this seem like it's bigger than what it is and turn it into an angle, and some, people will enjoy it. I don't know if it's going to work. Definitely it's not going to work as far as a standpoint of pay-per-view buy rates, because I don't see anyone buying the pay-per-view to see Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Angle, even though, it's kind of, not in my eyes, but I know that in some people's eyes that are fans of Jeff Jarrett, which I'm not a fan of at all. And, Kurt Angle is a hell of a wrestler, but, I feel these two can put on a good match, but not a great match, and it's kind of a dream match and kind of not. So it's really your view of if you like Jeff Jarrett. See, I'm not a fan of Jeff Jarrett, don't like him, so can't really classify it as a dream match. Then last night we had the SmackDown My Network debut of SmackDown, and definitely, not just a typical SmackDown, nothing really spectacular on it. It was good seeing all the wrestlers on one show, and they did do some decent stuff on there. I'm really feeling this Ron Killings versus Shelton Benjamin feud. I think that could amount to something very good. And, obviously everyone knew that Triple H would obviously pick up the victory in the triple threat, and hopefully they don't do some bullshit of Triple H versus Vladimir Kozlov feud. Now, I've heard, rumors that they might do a Triple H versus Big Show feud. I'm not a fan of that. If anyone remembers how terrible their matches was about a couple years ago, know why I'm saying I don't want to see that. And Vladimir Kozlov, I think this is one guy that I could say I would rather see Khali in the ring for a 20-minute match than seeing him even out there for 5 minutes. That's how bad I view him as. Now, as far as the My Network debut, this is going to be interesting to see how this affects the SmackDown ratings, because when they were on CW, I think they were getting in the range of the 2.2 to possibly some good weeks, if it was good ratings, possibly to a 2.6. Now, this is going to be a new network, new switch, and some markets, I don't know how they, carry the My Network, because I know in some areas that people might have, just regular cable and don't have digital cable, Comcast or anything like that. Then they just, I don't know if they get the channel on what channel or anything, and on in my area, you get it on 2 networks. You get it on, a digital channel like 198 or something, and you get it on a local access channel that used to be a PBS affiliate, channel 19. So, some people might not notice that they have it on their regular cable, so this is probably going to hurt their ratings a little bit, but, if people want to see SmackDown that bad, they'll search around and search and see if they have it. And, I feel, that's probably going to hurt their ratings for a little bit, but, it's one of those things when WWE does, go to another network, no matter how much the wrestling industry has changed and it's not as big as it once was, in the wrestling boom of the 90s, WWE is still that one company that no matter what network they go to, that network improves gradually with WWE being with them. USA is a simple example. CW was a very unknown network and just got started, and SmackDown was one of their huge draws on there. I know they got some other shows, but that was one of their big draws that started with them and started to grow their channel. So it's probably going to do the same thing with My Network, or at least the My Network channel is hoping that's going to happen. And another thing, as far as a TV debut soon, now this is nothing I'm interested in. I just want to throw it out because I know some people are probably going to be interested in it, and that's CMT, the Country Music Television Network, is going to be having the Hulk Hogan reality celebrity wrestling show, I think debuting either like the 16th or 18th. I'm not sure of the date. And the CMT network is so hyped up about this and think it's going to be such a good success that it hasn't even aired the first episode yet, and Hogan's already inked a deal for them to renew it and have a second season of it. So, but this is just, the Country Music Network, so probably anything that they think is going to gain them ratings, especially Hogan. Not that I'm not a big fan of his, but I will admit it, even though he's not the draw he once was, he's still a pretty big draw. And obviously everyone that, if you're a wrestling fan or if you're not a wrestling fan, Hogan and probably Flair are 2 of the names that you think of at first when you think of wrestling, and probably Hogan's obviously the main one I think everyone would know, Hogan and Rock, and possibly Austin, obviously. And the other thing I want to talk about is, God, I'm pretty sure some of you have seen it by now, but I will post the link in the description right over on this side, and it's to a link of a Andre the Giant movie that's coming out soon. I don't know if it's going to be released in DVDs or select cities or nationwide. Hopefully it's just going to be select cities or DVD, because, God, this movie looks horrendous. It looks fucking terrible. It looks like a fucking joke for a wrestling film. You want me to tell you how bad this film looks? It makes Ready to Rumble, the WCW movie that they did to hype up, the triple cage match that they got the idea from the movie from. It makes that movie seem serious, and that's pretty bad. That's one of the wrestling movies that I hate to admit I do like. It's kind of one of those guilty pleasures as far as a wrestling film. I like it, but I hate to admit I like it because I probably shouldn't. And this Andre the Giant movie looks like it's going to be a complete clusterfuck, and I don't think anyone's going to be caring about seeing it. This movie looks like it's probably going to be one of the worst movie adaptations or anything portraying wrestling of all time. That's including a lot of bad wrestling movies. Some people might say Ready to Rumble sucked. I actually enjoyed it. Like I said, I hate to admit I liked it, but I did like it. I'm not going to lie that I did. Then, obviously, on Thursday night, not only they did the Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle to build up their match for Bound for Glory, Obviously, Mick Foley is the special enforcer for that match, either a special enforcer or special guest referee. And obviously, he made his first TV debut as far as in the ring on Impact, inside the Impact Zone. So, and the rating, he just started debuting TNA. They got a 1.0. But the one thing I got to give TNA is, even though their ratings are very stagnant, they stay only in the range of 1.0 to 1.1, sometimes rarely that 1.2. But the thing you got to say is TNA, their fan base is pretty damn loyal to the company, as far as people that always tune into it and give them ratings, because this was on a Thursday night where they did the vice presidential debate that had a huge rating. I think over 70 million people viewed the vice presidential debate. Now, I'm going to get my thoughts on that after I get through the wrestling topics. I feel like I want to do the wrestling topics and then do anything other random after I get to that. So I get to my thoughts on that very soon. And that's very surprising that it didn't surprise me. It got 70 million viewers because a lot of people were obviously looking forward to seeing it, looking to see how Sarah Palin and Joe Biden did together. So definitely didn't shock me, but I didn't expect it to get that high of a number. I mean, that's higher than probably anything that's aired this year, including the Super Bowl. And that's just tremendous. Then let me see. There's other things I want to get to. Oh yeah, just some early. I'm not going to be giving my predictions, but some early thoughts and kind of a rant on the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. And God, TNA, this has got to be one of the worst cards for a pay-per-view that you claim is, even though you don't say it's your WrestleMania, everyone knows you're building it as your WrestleMania, your biggest show of the year, and all you're doing is a lot of matches that are thrown together, a lot of matches that don't make, well, some matches make sense, some matches don't, and a lot of thrown together gimmick matches, like the Terror Dome, or now referred to as the Steel Asylum, which probably, Kaz is going to re-debut as the Suicide character. And, Jarrett and Kurt Angle already gave my thoughts out. I think it might be a good match, but nothing worth going out your way to see. Then, actually, the one thing, now this might be kind of a spoiler, because I don't know if they built it up yet on Impact, but they've been kind of building it up. And they look like they were going to do Kurt Angle versus Christian Cage in a one-on-one match. That was a match I was looking forward to and say, damn, I want to see that match real bad. But no, they're not doing that. They're throwing Booker T in it, and now it's going to be a three-way. Even though the storyline-wise it makes sense maybe with his inclusion of it, but I would have much rather seen Kurt Angle, Christian Cage versus AJ Styles, where I think everyone, will agree with the next point I said, will say, and that's, I think everyone wanted to see AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the TNA World Heavyweight title. It would have been good for a change to see two homegrown talents, two talents that pretty much, even though, you got name value guys like Kurt Angle, Sting, or anyone else, these are the guys that, been around with your company and have been helping your company grow, even though it's in gradual little steps, your company is growing. And it would have been great to see, two homegrown talents like AJ and Joe. They would have had excellent match. These two I've never seen put on a bad match against each other, even at, independent shows, very small independent shows. PWG, Ring of Honor, their TNA matches were excellent. And obviously, the match everyone probably has seen by now is the Unbreakable 3-Way. And these two gel so well with each other, I don't know why they wouldn't do it. Hopefully TNA goes the good route and has Samoa Joe retain the title. But knowing TNA, they'll be fucking stupid, and they'll have Samoa Joe lose the title to Sting, and have Sting, lose the title to someone, within 2 weeks on an Impact, and not even wait for the next pay-per-view. If they do something like that, that is fucking stupid. I don't care how much you support TNA. If they do something like that, you got to call bullshit on that, because that will be complete bullshit if they do something on the lines of that. Now, another thing for Bound for Glory. Now, you got the Monsters Ball 4-way tag match, and, you got a special guest referee for this, and this is probably one of the most, I don't understand why they would book him. I understand maybe because it's Chicago, and that's Steve Mongo McMichael, former Chicago Bears player and WCW superstar, and probably the worst horseman, well, maybe not the worst Four Horsemen member, probably the second worst one. I don't either him and Paul Romo, they're probably a tie together, so I don't know which one you would say is better or worse, but they're both pretty terrible. Then he's going to be a special guest referee in the match. Don't understand why they would book him. Doesn't make any sense. I don't think anyone cares about seeing him. I don't think even people in Chicago care about seeing him. I mean, I know he might be a local celebrity there, and people might, know him from his past, from his football accolades, and maybe his WCW days. But I don't think anyone wants to go to pay-per-view to see him, obviously. And then another return that you're probably going to see is I'm not sure if she's going to be returning to TNA, but TNA did before she had her injury. This is Mickey Knuckles, or as TNA refers to her as, I guess, Mickey Moose Knuckles or Moose Knuckles, or just the Moose. Hopefully they don't call her that, because that is one of the dumbest fucking names of all time. Hopefully they just call her Mickey Knuckles, and I think so many fans said that was so fucking stupid that hopefully TNA's got that in their head that, don't call her that, just call her Mickey Knuckles, or, something on the lines of at least a good name, not some cheesy name like that. And she's going to be returning to the ring within 3 weeks, which I didn't expect this either. I didn't expect her or John Cena to come back anytime soon, especially her. I didn't expect her to come back probably for, a couple more months, because anyone that's seen the footage, a couple months ago of how severe her leg injury was, definitely probably are shocked to hear that she's coming back. Then let me just end this up with some thoughts about the vice presidential debate. Like I said, not shocked that it got 70 million viewers, but this is a sad thing in this election that more people care about a Sarah Palin debate than the actual presidential debate. Well, you can kind of blame that maybe on some things. Some people, people will say John McCain is completely boring, so that might, hurt Obama, even though Obama has, great charisma with him, and I think he will be a great leader if and when he does become president. Hopefully he will, because I am very scared to see what's going to happen to the U.S. or this country in general, of what will happen if John McCain and Sarah Palin are going to be the next president and vice president. Definitely am very scared if they go that route. Hopefully America will be smart, will figure out and finally open their eyes to see how bad these last 8 years are and want to have a change. And if this don't work, fine. After 4 years, it cannot be anything worse than Bush. That's the one thing. And not John McCain, but Barack Obama, I feel, has, great presidents about him, and I think he will be a great president to the United States. Hopefully he'll be elected. Now my thoughts about the vice presidential debate. Now, I was looking for this being, Joe Biden. I was expecting, him to get basically, her meeting Joey the Shark. I was expecting something like that. I was expecting her to get completely demolished by Joe Biden. Now, she didn't get completely demolished, but the one thing she did was she didn't really answer questions. She kept on veering off subject, so you can't say she won the debate. Obviously, Joe Biden, in my opinion, won it very easily. But the one thing she didn't get demolished, which probably even some Republicans were even expecting. So that probably helps them out a little. Now, as far as the polls go, that hasn't increased anything with the polls. As far as the polls from after the presidential and vice presidential debate, a lot of the polls, polls, you can take them for what they were, what they are. Some of them, they're not really completely accurate, but, at this point in the polls, Barack Obama is leading, I think, within 5 or 7 points of John McCain, so definitely that spells good for him. Hopefully, like I said, he will get elected as the 44th president of the United States, because I'm very scared to see what the United States will turn into if John McCain and Sarah Palin are elected. And, people that, this last part of the video talking about the vice presidential debate and the, basically little political thoughts. Obviously, if you live outside the United States, you probably don't care about that this part that much, but even if you live outside the United States, no matter who's president, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect other people that live in other countries as well, not just people within the United States. Obviously, people in the United States are obviously more effective of who is elected as president. But it's still other people in other countries are still going to be affected whichever way it goes. Hopefully, like I said, America will be smart this time. Go out and vote for Barack Obama. Hopefully he'll win this election, and hopefully it's not going to be some close election where they'll pull some Al Gore recount bullshit and basically the Republicans trying to steal another election, because I'm not taking anything away from them, because I feel they'll try anything in this election to steal it. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully, like I said, Barack Obama becomes president, and that's basically all what I want to say. And just a big thank you to all my subscribers, anyone that's ever viewed my videos. Definitely thanks for viewing this, and thanks if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't thought about becoming a YouTube partner. Now I think my videos are going to be, like I said, a better flow to them. Now I know I kind of rambled on probably a little long in here. Hopefully you did enjoy if you did get all the way to the end of this. I know I did probably ramble on a little too much in here, but hopefully you did enjoy, and yeah, that's it. Peace.